let's kick things off with a question that has probably crossed your mind 1,000 times. Can we actually really control time? I want you to really think about that for a second. Imagine you had a remote control for the universe, and you could just hit pause. What would you even do with that kind of power? I mean, the possibilities are wild, right? You could zip into the future, scribble down those winning lottery numbers, and boom, you're set for life. Or maybe you'd play the hero, stopping a terrible accident just seconds before it happens. Or, maybe you just freeze everything to finally get a moment of peace and quiet. It's the ultimate fantasy. But what happens when we drag this idea out of the movies and drop it into the lap of real hard science? Well, the answer science gives us is somehow even weirder than the fiction. So to understand this, we have to start with the man who basically broke time, Albert Einstein. His idea of a flexible, stretchy time shows us that reality is way more bizarre than we ever thought possible. For centuries, we picture time as this universal clock, ticking away at the exact same speed for everyone, no matter where you were. That was the classical idea. But then Einstein came along and just shattered that notion. His version of reality, time isn't fixed at all. It's relative. It's stretchy. It can literally run faster or slower depending on things like your speed or how much gravity you're experiencing. Now, this whole crazy concept has a scientific name, time dilation. And the most important thing to get here is that this isn't just a cool theory. It's a real physical effect that we can actually go out and measure. Okay, so if it's measurable, you might be asking, where's the proof? Well, it's not just hiding in some lab. It's happening all around us, all the time. So how do we know for sure? Well, we've tested it again and again. Scientists have put incredibly precise atomic clocks on jet airplanes, flew them around the world, and guess what? When they landed, those clocks were running just a tiny fraction of a second behind the clocks that stayed on the ground. We see it with GPS satellites, in rocket experiments, even with cosmic particles zipping through our atmosphere. The proof is everywhere. Get this. The GPS on your phone, it would be completely useless without accounting for time dilation. The satellites orbiting way up there are moving super fast, and they're in a weaker gravitational field. That means their clocks literally tick faster than ours down here. If we didn't correct for that, your GPS would be off by miles every single day. And it doesn't just affect clocks, it affects people. Astronauts zipping around the Earth and the International Space Station, well, when they come back home, they have aged just a little bit less than all of us. We're talking about tiny, tiny fractions of a second, but it's real. They are quite literally travelers who have jumped a few milliseconds into our future. All right, so traveling a tiny bit into the future is a real thing. But what about all those other sci-fi dreams we had? This is where we start bumping up against the limits of what science knows today, and where we have to separate what's real from what's still just fantasy. Okay, so moving forward in time is possible, even if it's just a little bit. But what about the other stuff? Going back in time to fix a mistake, or just stopping the clock altogether. Yeah, this is where physics pretty much puts up a big stop sign. Sure, we have theoretical ideas like wormholes, but right now, they're just math on a whiteboard. The great Stephen Hawking even suggested that the laws of physics might have their own built-in protection system to prevent us from going back and creating paradoxes. The bottom line is, there is zero, and I mean zero, experimental evidence that we can go backward or hit the pause button on time. So, let's look at the scientific scorecard. Traveling to the future? Yep, that's possible, thanks to time dilation. But traveling to the past? Nope, no evidence. And stopping time completely? Again, absolutely no evidence. So if building a time machine is off the table, at least for now, what does that leave us with? Well, this is where we can shift our focus a little, away from machines and physics and more toward our own mindset. It's about the true power we hold in the present moment. Maybe the real way to control time isn't by inventing some gadget. Maybe it's found in the decisions we make with the time we're given. It's not about mastering the clock on the wall. It's about mastering the choices we make from one moment to the next. Because when you really boil it all down, the past is a memory, and the future is just an idea. The only time we actually own, the only time we can shape and influence and truly live in is right now, this very moment. And that leaves us with a really powerful way to think about all of this. Time isn't your enemy, something you have to fight against. No, it's your material. It's the clay you get to shape your life with. So while we can't physically stop the clock, We absolutely get to decide what we build with the moments it gives us. The real question isn't can we control time, it's what will we create with ours.
Click the subscribe button and activate the bell to ensure you don't miss anything.